Every morning at 7:15, the bell over the diner door would jingle, and in walked an old man wearing the same brown hat, gray coat, and gentle smile. He always sat at booth number 3 by the window, the one that caught the morning sun just right. For over a year, the same young waitress would greet him with a steaming cup of coffee and a warm, "Good morning, Mr. Thomas." But one day, everything changed. Instead of Mr. Thomas walking through that door, 4 bikers and 2 men in suits came in, and what they said next left everyone in the diner speechless. Hey everyone, welcome back to Kindness Action, the channel where real stories remind us that small acts of love can change the world. If you believe kindness still matters, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and tell us in the comments about a time someone showed you kindness. Now, let's get into today's story. Emma had been working at Miller's Diner for almost 5 years. It wasn't glamorous: chipped mugs, sticky booths, and a jukebox that hadn't worked since before she was born. But it was home. Every day, she served regulars who'd become like family. Truckers who told tall tales, nurses grabbing coffee after night shifts, and teens from the high school across the street sharing milkshakes and dreams. And then there was Mr. Thomas. He was quiet, polite, and always alone. He'd order the same thing: 2 slices of toast, butter on the side, and black coffee. Never eggs. Never pancakes. Just toast. When Emma first served him, she noticed his hands shaking slightly as he spread the butter. Without thinking, she offered, "Let me help you with that." He smiled softly. "You remind me of my daughter," he said. From that day on, she always helped him with his toast. It became their little routine. She'd sit across from him for a moment, spreading butter while he told her stories, about his late wife, his time in the army, and how the world had changed too fast for an old man like him. Sometimes she'd sneak him an extra slice of pie when her boss wasn't looking. Other times, she'd refill his coffee for free. It wasn't much, but it made her feel good to brighten his mornings. Over time, they grew close, not in the way of family, but in that special bond that forms between 2 souls who simply understand each other. But then one week, Mr. Thomas didn't come in. At first, Emma thought maybe he was sick. By the 3rd day, she couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. She even asked around town, but no one knew where he lived. She felt helpless, and guilty that she didn't know more about the man she'd spent so many mornings with. Then, nearly 2 weeks later, the diner's bell rang again. Emma looked up, expecting her regulars. But instead, in walked 4 men in black leather jackets, bikers, with patches on their vests, and 2 men in suits carrying briefcases. The whole diner went silent. They looked out of place in the little retro diner. The taller lawyer stepped forward. "Excuse me," he said, looking around. "Is there a waitress named Emma here?" Emma froze. Her heart skipped. "That's me," she said softly. The lawyer nodded and motioned for her to sit. Everyone watched as he opened his briefcase and pulled out an envelope. "Miss, I represent the estate of Mr. Henry Thomas." Emma's breath caught. "Estate? You mean?" "I'm afraid Mr. Thomas passed away last week," the lawyer said gently. "But before he did, he left specific instructions for us to find you." Tears welled in Emma's eyes. The old man she'd served every morning was gone. But why would he send lawyers, and bikers, of all people? The lawyer continued. "Mr. Thomas wanted you to know how much your kindness meant to him. He told us you were the only person who made his mornings feel less lonely." Emma wiped her eyes. "He was like family to me," she whispered. Then one of the bikers stepped forward. He was tall, rough-looking, with a silver beard and kind eyes. "Ma'am," he said, his voice deep but gentle. "Mr. Thomas was one of us, a founding member of our motorcycle club. He just hadn't ridden in years. When he passed, he told us to make sure you got this." He handed her a small, worn-out leather envelope. Inside was a handwritten note and a folded check. The note read, "Dear Emma. Thank you for being the sunshine in an old man's final years. I never told you this, but the diner reminded me of the place my late wife and I used to visit every Sunday. You brought that feeling back to me. Please accept this small gift, not as payment, but as gratitude. Keep spreading kindness. The world needs more of it. Henry." Emma unfolded the check. Her hands trembled. It was written for $150,000. She gasped. "This must be a mistake," she said. "I can't accept this." But the lawyer shook his head. He insisted. He said you'd probably say that, but he wanted you to use it to follow your dreams. The bikers smiled. "He told us you wanted to open your own cafe one day," one of them added. "Said it'd make him proud to know you finally did." Emma couldn't hold back her tears. In that moment, she realized how deeply her small acts of kindness had touched someone's heart, so much that he'd carried that gratitude to his very last breath. The entire diner watched in silence. Even her boss, usually grumpy and impatient, came over and put a hand on her shoulder. "You made a real difference, kid," he said softly. Months later, Emma used that money to open her own place, Henry's Cafe. She decorated it with red booths, checkered floors, and framed pictures of Mr. Thomas with his biker friends. Above the door, she hung a sign that read, "Kindness served daily." And every morning, just like before, she'd sit down with an elderly customer and help them butter their toast. Because sometimes, it's not about the big gestures. It's about the small moments, a smile, a helping hand, a few minutes of listening. You never know how much those moments mean to someone who feels invisible. Mr. Thomas taught Emma, and all of us, that kindness doesn't just change someone's day. It can change a life. So next time you're out and see someone who could use a bit of warmth, offer it. You never know what story is unfolding behind their smile. Thanks for watching Kindness Action. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story if it touched your heart. And remember, kindness costs nothing, but it's worth everything.